Hi guys, I just got back from a local tournament post Balanced Data Slate. A couple of my friends were there who attended Worlds last year, and one of them was actually running Kazakin. So today I wanted to talk about what my takeaways were from that tournament in regards to the Balanced Data Slate, what my favourite sort of buffs were, what my favourite nerfs were, and if you stick around to the end, I will also be sharing with you what I think the most positive thing about this balanced data slate has been. I think one of the big buffs that myself and probably most of the community are really happy with is the buffs to Kazakin. They finally get double shoot in some capacity. So one of my friends was running Kazakin at this event, and I did pick his brain a little bit about how he felt they played, and he did say they definitely have teeth now. So as I said, one of my friends was at the tournament over the weekend, and I asked him about his general sort of opinions and feelings about running them over those 4 games, and he said the piercing, crit, and severe felt really strong on the Hellgun guys. Apparently, the double shooting doesn't come up quite as much as you would expect. However, the piercing, crit, and severe combo does seem to amplify the economy of that double shoot really well. And it also does obviously synergize with existing stratagems like reposition and seize the initiative, which again allow you to shoot out of sequence as well as possibly double shoot. Another buff that I'm really happy with is the changes that they've made to Angels of Death. Access to the heavy intercessor was always really limited when he was weighed up against the sniper, which is kind of like the auto include unit for Angels of Death, and he kind of equates to like a marine with a Justice Scratch yomping around the board. And there are little combos that you could do with him as well, like give him a portable barricade for the 2-up save, things like that. But the main positive I'm taking away from this change is that the devs are committed to keeping teams relevant despite the subsequent releases like Deathwatch kind of overshadowing the normal Angels of Death team a little bit. It does show commitment to keeping them relevant and keeping them a good introduction to the game, which is healthy, I think, across the board, but especially for this team because they are the most common starter team for most new players. And the third buff that I'm most happy with is the Far Stalker Kinband update. What we're seeing here is the damage stats for their key pieces. They're sort of the operatives that really count are being buffed from 3-4 to 3-5, which in the age of like Murderwing and Deathwatch and stuff like that is kind of necessary for the Bird Boys to keep down and keep on top of elite kill teams. I do wonder how powerful they're going to be when we consider how well they play the crit up currently with the poach stratagem and things like that. So it's not just the buffs that I'm happy with. I'm also happy that some of the overperforming teams have been given the chop a little bit, and basically the Canoptech Circle have been hit. I think they've been hit fairly. I think they could have kneecapped them way worse than this. Basically, what's happened here is the Warriors, the expendable little guys, have picked a lane. What this means is they can't do it all now. They don't get to be expendable and do lots of DPS and stuff like that. So the damage has been reduced, as well as the damage that they do on death. Essentially, they've picked a lane. They're now expendable little shitters and not guys that are going to spike and kill a marine, as well as come back when they die. Another overperforming team is the Wolf Scouts. And now there's 2 things I'd like to say about this. But first of all, I think this was fairly even-handed as well, and they've still got teeth. Excuse the pun. But basically what happens here is the melee buffs have been divorced from one another. So essentially the 2 big melee buffs that the team have been divorced from one another. You can't have them both up in the same fight sequence. So if you're charging the enemy, you can benefit from the -1 to their attack stats stratagem. And if you're retaliating against an enemy, if you're yourself being charged, then you get to do the Savage Fighters stratagem, doing damage at the end of the sequence if you survive. But it isn't the nerfs themselves that I think are the most sort of poignant thing here. I think that the fact that these nerfs have come so quickly after the team have been released, that is the main positive thing here, I think, because it's showing a sort of it's showing that the devs are willing to deal with particularly egregious balance problems sooner rather than later in previous iterations, in previous patches. Obviously, usually the teams get a full 3-month release window before any changes are made. And finally, the nerf to the Celestian Insidiants that went down as well. Again, this one isn't really about the nerf itself. All the nerf does is stop one of their benediction abilities, Exigence, which allows them to charge from going off in the first turning point. Basically, it just stops any opportunity for an alpha strike. Again, this is positive signs that the devs are willing to rein in interactions that are deemed toxic to the game, even though this team literally isn't out yet. So again, between the Wolf Scout nerfs, which have come fairly quickly, and the Insidiant nerfs, which have come literally before the team is actually in the hands of the general public, we are kind of seeing at least a willingness from the devs to try and promote the health of the game, despite the fact that Murder Wing are probably going to upset that balance pretty heavily. And I did say, if you stick around to the end of the video, I would give you my number one sort of thing that I am most happy with. And I think that the best thing about this balance patch is the fact that the devs have buffed teams that are well out of rotation now. What I mean by this is buffs to teams like Star Striders and Vet Guard, things like that, which are good examples of sweeping quality of life changes that are being applied to teams that are out of rotation. I feel like this creates a real distinction about what declassification is in Kill Team compared to what the Legends list in 40k is. Basically, in 40k, the Legends list is a data slate graveyard, isn't it? Once older units go into that sort of Legend status, they're not getting balanced again. They are what they are. This bodes really well for the guys and girls out there who want to stick to their older teams, and it also incentivizes events organizers to continue to allow them in competitive play, you know, at the local level or even at the sorts of the semi-large scale tournaments as well, because they are being balanced almost retroactively. Bodes really well for everybody who wants to get in the game and play any of the teams that have been released. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more Kill Team content. It helps my little baby channel grow. See you next time.